Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another Friday episode of Ask Your Gal. These honestly have been becoming one of my very favorite podcast segments because it's interaction with you guys, right? Like, I have gotten a couple questions, but I could always use some more. So if you have any questions or, topics you want discussed, go ahead and submit them. There is a link down below if you're listening on the audio podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment because I would love to see, if you have any questions, if you have any situations, topics, I'm always looking forward to reading what you guys have said. But also it just makes it so fun. And I've been coordinating with a couple special guests and planning for the upcoming year to get them on the podcast. I'm so excited. Okay, I cannot hold my excitement to actually have them on the podcast. I hope everything is going good with you this Friday. I feel like this entire week, I felt like it was Friday. Like, I swear, on Tuesday, I was like, it feels like it should be Friday already. And it was just a Tuesday. I don't know what that has to say about me, but I have already been fast forwarded to the weekend. I'm like, what are we doing here? And maybe that's because it's been really rainy, really dreary. It feels kind of like Twilight Zone. If you ever watched the Twilight series, it's overcast, it's dreary, it's dark, and it rains a lot, right? Like, is it in Seattle or where is it? Forks? Spoons? I don't know where it's located at, but it feels like that. I feel like everything has been in like blue tone, of like there's a golden hour, right? Golden hour podcast. And then I feel like there's a blue hour that's really popular where people have it like blue toned. And that's how I've been feeling, which is good because it marks 1 week since I've gotten my my chemical peel. So I got it 1 week ago from this past Thursday. So when this comes out, it's been a week and a day. So the cloudy atmosphere has definitely been good for my skin. I don't want to be exposing my skin to the sun because it takes off the top layer. Okay, it's like a chemical peel. I could get like an intense sunburn on top of it, and we don't want that. I will say my skin still feels a bit tight and there's a bit of peeling underneath my chin, but so far so good. I'm really enjoying it, really loving it. And next week I have a facial to scrape all of the rest of the dead skin off, and I should be super glowy and great for Golden Hour Drip's 4th birthday. I cannot believe it. I'm so excited. I'm getting a cake and I'm having a little celebration with myself. I was planning on having like a Golden Gal Network event on the 3rd, just like a little anniversary party, but then I got immediately overwhelmed because I have events back to back, like social events. I have networking events like for work, and I just, oh my gosh, like it's crazy, it's insane, and I have a lot to do in the next couple weeks, and so that's probably why my brain is running into overdrive. And I feel like because January felt like it lasted so long to me, I can't believe we're still in January, honestly. And I feel like I've done so much, like I've made way on a lot of my goals. I know February is gonna like go so fast, and then basically it's spring and summer is here. So I know it's not slowing down. In comparison to this year in comparison to last year, I am excited. We have less weddings and less events planned by other people. Like this year, it's me in control of like our calendar instead of weddings and bachelorettes. And although I love all of those people in my lives who have these special events, I feel more in control of my summer and more in control of my year than last year. Like, I don't know, I'm planning something special for my birthday, and last year I had like a solo trip that I did by myself, but I really couldn't coordinate friends because everyone was so busy. I know it's going to be a lot. I'm looking forward to it. a little overwhelmed, but we're gonna take it in stride. We are working on our morning and nighttime routine, but let's stop talking about my problems and let's get into some of your guys' problems. So I picked 3 questions for today's episode, and the first one is going to be, how do you deal with fake friends? I think at one time or another, we have all had a friend who might have had alternative motives or might have had their, perception to be like the best. Like they're only thinking about themselves and they're not thinking about you. And recently I actually had a friend who had a similar situation where she was dealing with a friend who she thought was genuine. She thought that this was someone she could count on to be in her life, and they found their friendship through work, right? And a lot of us have friends at work, but it doesn't like extend outside of work. We might tell them all these little details about our life, and we never hang out outside of work. Or maybe we do hang outside of work and all we talk about is the drama at work, or who we like, or promotions, or gossip, or any of those things, right? And I truly think that sometimes we have friends of convenience, and that is not a bad thing. Friends of convenience is perfectly fine. I feel like a lot of my acquaintances or friends in high school were friends of convenience. We went to classes together. I saw them every day. They might have had their locker next to mine, right? Like friends of convenience. You see them all the time and you make friends with them, because if you don't, it'll be super awkward. I remember my freshman year of college making a friend of convenience who was, in most of my core classes, and then she ended up not being a real friend and completely, getting in a great fight and just became very toxic at that point. And when a friendship becomes toxic or fake, and sometimes like you might not know that friendship is not genuine. You might think that girl has your best interest at heart, that you guys are actually friends, and then they blindside you because they had, something that was going to benefit them. So they either dropped you, told your secrets, whatever. And you might thought that was like a real friend. And then to you, that friendship has turned toxic. And I think that when a friendship turns toxic, or they reveal their true colors and they don't support you in the way that you thought you needed or should have been supported, right? They're a fake friend. I believe that soul contract is over. That friendship has extended past the time that it was meant to be in your life. And when we hold so tightly to the friendships or the relationships that are no longer benefiting us, right? Like it might have been a friendship of convenience. You might have worked with them before. You might have went to college with them. You might have, shared a similar interest and saw them every other Wednesday at your book club or whatever. And then you realize that maybe that no longer works for your schedule. Maybe you no longer want to go to a book club because they're reading spooky, scary books and you are peeing your bed every night from nightmares, okay? And you decide you won't go anymore. Now, that other friend who you might have been seeing at your book club is like, why did you stop going? And you say, because I'm freaking scared shitless. Like, what do you mean? And that can cause tension. And, when you joined the book club, that could have been the perfect time in that moment, but then something changed for you. And something might have changed for that friend that you're calling, a fake friend or not a true, genuine friend. We never know what is happening in someone else's life or what would have changed their situation or their circumstance. And so I think it's just best and the most gentle way to say, that soul contract was over. We had a good run. I'm going to preserve and love those memories, but we're not meant to be friends outside of this specific point in time. And if we try to hold on to it, if we try to force it, whenever we force something, it is taking away from what is meant for us. So maybe ending this relationship, whether you wanted to, or that person stopped texting you, stopped calling you, or, was rude to you. We don't know what has changed in their life or in their life path. And so the best thing to do is just always be kind, right? Because you will never regret being kind, and rolling on and saying, you know what, like, thank you for that time. Thank you for those moments together, but you're no longer meant for my journey, and I'm no longer, meant for your journey. And then boom, you're done. You don't have to have any, bad feelings towards it, and you can just move towards something or someone, that friendship, that is going to benefit you and that is going to pour into you. And it might be the friendship that you have been searching for to fit that perfect piece in the puzzle of your life. So I'm wishing you all the luck in navigating this friendship. It's always hard when feelings are involved, but know that sometimes we can't see the outside forces, and this might be saving you from a situation in the future or setting you up for something even better. The next one. I know that you did a huge career switch last year. Was it worth it? I'm having doubts about my own current career. This one is so personal, but I do want to say that with the new year, a lot of people have goals, right? Like, you have things that you want to do, and I think it's a perfect time to take inventory on if you're happy with where you're at. And what I find is the people who are unhappy and choose not to do anything about it continue to be unhappy, right? Like, they don't suddenly get real excited and real happy about things. They continue to have like a negative attitude, or they're always complaining. And personally, I don't want to be in a situation that is not meant for me, or if I know that I feel like I'm wasting my time or my heart's not in it, I do take like a real extreme look at the situation and ask myself if I would be happy doing this for the next 20 or 50 years. Like, honestly, like, I don't think that there will be a time where I ever want to completely retire. I love to work. I am a motivated person, and I am a goal setter. I don't think that I necessarily will have like a traditional 9-to-5 job. I would rather pursue something more entrepreneurial where it's like a 24/7 kind of situation. But I was extremely unhappy. And I thought that the next promotion would make me happier. I thought that more money would make me happier, which in some aspects it does, but only temporarily. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. Right? And I just decided that I could either continue on someone else's plan, someone else's idea of success, or I could start on my own path, and I could start pursuing the things that made me happy and what would fill me up and encourage me to chase that higher being and my highest self. And I know that might sound like a little woo-woo, but when I journal out or write who I want to be and how I see myself at, 26, 27, 30, 35, 40, I knew that this was not going to be sustainable for me. And it was hard. And I definitely had like some identity crisis this past summer. I felt like I was no longer known as the girl who did that thing. And it was extremely hard. And I had to push into my confidence of myself and pursuing the things that did make me happy, like podcasting, like having my Golden Gal network, although that is so new. Vlogging was something that I tried new last summer, and just kind of dabbling in things. As humans, we are meant to grow and change, and I think when you just tether yourself to something, whether it was your idea in the first place or someone else's, and you outgrow that container, you're doing yourself a disservice by not pursuing something else and taking the chance. I did read an article somewhere, and I swear it was actually an article. It was on LinkedIn. It was not on TikTok, although that is where a lot of quality sources come from. It was talking about how people reach a point in their late 20s and 30s where they decide that the career that they've chosen is no longer for them. And it was like a crazy number, like 75% choose not to change their profession and rather just continue to climb up the ladder, that they would rather retire and then chase after their big dream, like opening a coffee shop or a bakery or, you know, a library, whatever, a bookstore, not a library, or a library, I don't know. And that it was like 75, it was a high number, did not change their profession, and they just decided to stick to it. I would rather try and fail and try and fail and try and fail when I'm young, instead of waiting until this finish line and then realizing that there actually is not a finish line. Like, retirement is not a finish line for me, and I would rather start pursuing my life now and choosing myself now than waiting so long to then choose myself. So that's what worked for me. And truly the answer is inside of you. So if you are really like thinking about leaving your job and switching a profession, the fact that you're even thinking about it means something is lacking in your current role, whether that is, you know, the leadership or the goals. Like, maybe you think that you're underperforming and you have so much more potential inside of you, but when you even consider it, something is lacking in the situation, or you are needing a different change of pace. Like, even if you're thinking about it, staying is going to make you unhappy. So it's just like, seriously, start looking at different jobs, different professions, or even seeing how you could train for something while you're still at your current job. Use it as a way to fund your next opportunity or to fund the profession that you switch to in the next 6 months. Okay, and then this last one, it was kind of fun. It said, thoughts on Joey's season, episode 1. I did watch episode 1, and I'm not quite finished with it. I have like 10 minutes left. It's just the rose ceremony. And I mean, it's fine because I wouldn't tell you who was getting a rose anyways, but I was watching it on Tuesday night, and I thought I'd be finished with it by the time I sat down to record, but apparently I am not, and that's okay. I have a couple notes here. So Joey is the new Bachelor, and I did think back and forth if I actually wanted to watch The Bachelor or not. Clayton's season I did not watch. Charity's season I did not watch, and about halfway through, not Love Island, oh my gosh, Bachelor in Paradise. I watched probably 75% of Bachelor in Paradise, and then I stopped watching, and normally I watch it all the way through. So it's kind of been a weird Bachelor franchise for me. I watched most of The Golden Bachelor, I watched most of The Golden Wedding, but it's kind of been striking and like missing for me. So I wanted to watch the first episode. I wanted to see how it was, and I feel like every single girl was a brunette, which I love because, you know, I have brown hair too. And I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, they're gorgeous, and they all have brown hair. And it made me feel more confident about my brown hair because with spring coming, everyone's gonna start to go lighter. And I feel like in Bachelor and Bachelorette seasons in the past, a lot of them are blonde and they're beautiful. But it was nice to see all the brunettes and think, oh, like, I love their hair. I want their hair. So I was like, ooh, all these brunette beauties, stunning. I love them. I did think that the sisters, that's a bit weird. Like, I'm thinking about my sisters, and if we were trying for the same guy, I don't know. There was one stint in middle school where my family was moving and I had to break up with my boyfriend. It was like my first official boyfriend, and I broke up with him because we were moving. I mean, what do you expect? And he dated my sister for like a day, and I was like, that's embarrassing for me, and that's embarrassing for my sister, and that's embarrassing for you. I don't know. We were in middle school, literally. It does not matter. He was brokenhearted, but I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I knew the emotions that I felt then and the emotions I would feel now, like both going to the, like through The Bachelor. I don't know. I don't know if either one gets picked, like after the first cut, but I thought that was kind of weird. Kind of good, but also kind of weird. Like, I just didn't like it, honestly. One girl was from St. Louis, Autumn. Her delivery could have been better on her, which season do you like? And then she's like, I hope that you fall for an autumn. I was like, oof, like, I hope that you fall for an autumn. Her delivery, it could have been a little bit better. I wish she would have practiced, but maybe she did. I would be nervous too, honestly. But I was really excited. I was like, oh, St. Louis, Missouri, because I live near Kansas City, Missouri. Not in Kansas City, but near Kansas City. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. Like a Missouri girl. I love it. I'm rooting for her. But honestly, I don't know if I'm excited or not excited, because they tried to do this thing with a mystery card. So when they announced Joey as the Bachelor, they had him meet one of the contestants, which I didn't see that. I think it was on Charity's season or Clayton's, I don't know. But they gave her a card and was like, you cannot open this until like opening ceremonies. And so she waited, opened it up. Come to find out, it says that she could steal a date night from anyone at any time for hometowns. And I was like, okay, that is so weird, because if Joey was like, I want to take Logan on a hometown date, maybe not me. Okay, let's say they want to take you on a hometown date. Or not hometown. He wants to take you on a date. And then I swoop in there and was like, actually, Joey, I know that you picked my Golden Hour Drip listener, but I'm going to steal this date because I haven't got a chance to get to know you yet. Okay, first off, Joey's picking his wife. Okay, this is not a contest. Like, this is his wife. If he doesn't want to go on a date with me, I'm not going to use a, get out of jail free card to go on a date with him. I just think that was bizarre. And it's like messing with the relationship and messing with like Joey's future. I don't know. I didn't like that. The girl who got it did end up throwing it in the fireplace. She said she's not going to use it, which I really did like. But a couple of my friends are doing a Bachelor watch party, which is making me feel like I'm in college again. I love a watch party with a reality TV show. It doesn't matter what reality TV show, I like a watch night, which is similar to how boys are with football. I do understand that, I do realize, but I'm looking forward to that aspect, because always, I am a social girly, okay? It doesn't matter what we are rallying around. I want to be there. I want to be in the know, and I want to know the gossip. I want to know who we're rooting for, who we love on the television, who we don't, or if it's a race or whatever we're watching, honestly. So that is all that I have for you this Friday's episode of Ask Your Gal, and I can't wait for you to listen to the upcoming guest. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. If you're listening on an audio podcast, be sure to give us a rate and review as well. And that's it for this week. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!